but I was asked by some people not to open them. There's a Martin Luther King file, too, by the way, that they'd like to see. Do you think that we have aliens coming, flying around or whatever?
What do you think?
These are some moments from the Rogan Trump podcast from last night. It was 3 hours long. I grabbed a handful that I thought were really interesting that a lot of people will not show you. I want you to check it out. Hit the like, subscribe, thumbs up button, share it everywhere. Follow me on X. We got to keep the free speech train rolling.
There's no reason not to. I mean, there's no reason not to think that Mars and all these planets don't have life, because
Mars, we've had probes there and rovers, and I don't think there's any life there.
Well, maybe it's life that we don't know, but
maybe there was life there at one point in time. This is the speculation about Mars, that Mars had an atmosphere at one point in time, a long time ago, that could support life. It also had large bodies of water, but we've had no evidence of even bacterial life that exists on Mars. But the universe is pretty vast. It's not been a big thing
for me. I mean, when I looked at what China did to this, they would have never done it with me, where they put the balloon up, and a lot of people thought for a little while that was one of these things. So,
that's a lot of the speculation too, that some of these drones that hover over battleships, that these are Chinese drones, and that they're not.
What do you think about that? I think it's a great point. These drones flying around our naval ships. Do you think they're outer space? Is it extraterrestrials? Or who would get the most benefit from that? Stealing technology? China? North Korea? Russia? Iran? Fill in the blank, right? Donald Trump gets into the Area 51 information. And what he alludes to, it's not what he actually says, it's what he alludes to. Make sure you follow me, veteranbikerlocals.com, link down below. More unfiltered content. Free speech is not free. We are trying to keep growing and showing you what the mainstream media will not.
I have people that Area 51 or whatever it is, I think it's the #1 tourist attraction in the whole country or something. Area 51 in Las Vegas. Do you know that, right?
Sure, I know what it is.
So anyway, but it's a big tourist thing. So I interviewed jet pilots that say they saw something. If you saw them, you'd love to have them as your
I've had
son.
a couple in here. Commander David Fravor. I had him in, who had that sighting in 2004. Very compelling with video evidence, radar evidence. Ryan Graves.
I don't believe his name, but I interviewed jet pilots that were solid people. Perfect. I mean, great pilots, great everything. And they said, we saw things, sir, that were very strange. Like a round ball, but it wasn't a comet or a meteor. It was something. And it was going 4 times faster than an F-22, which is a very fast plane.
Wow. Donald Trump, man, he gives you just enough that you're like, damn. What questions would you ask Donald Trump if you were doing this interview? What would you ask him? Would you ask him about UFOs, Kennedy assassination? Would you ask him about the Martin Luther King assassination? Well, Donald Trump goes into all of this in this interview. Make sure you smash that like button.
One of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is the JFK files. And one of the things that you said was that if they showed you what they showed me, this was your quote, you wouldn't want people to know it either.
So I opened them up partially. I was met from good people. I mean, good people. People that were well-meaning. Mike Pompeo was one of them. He's a good person.
Mike Pompeo's a warmonger. He's good at what he does. But man, CIA director, I don't know about that.
They called me. They said, sir, would rather have you not. And I did open them. But I was asked by some people not to open them. There's a Martin Luther King file, too, by the way, that they'd like to see.
There you go, Black America. You want to know what happened to Martin Luther King? Vote for Donald Trump. I guarantee you Lyndon B. Johnson was involved in the Kennedy and the MLK, allegedly. LBJ promised the black votes, the N-words, would be voting for Democrats for the 100 years. Seems like he's rolling over his grave right now. You got the mayor of Dallas, black Democrat, converted to Republican. Now he wears an LBJ hat. Okay? I approached him in a restaurant and asked him why he was a hypocrite. He looked at me like I was a moron. tell that story a little more offline. It's a private story I'll share down on Locals. Wow. MLK, Kennedy, love to know more.
I don't know if you know, but there is that. But JFK in particular. So they call me, a lot of good people call me, people that that you would find reasonable people. And they asked me not to do it. So I said, well, we'll close it for another time. But if I win, I'm going to open them up. I'm just going to open enough.
Why didn't you open it up the first time?
He's got nothing to lose now.
Hesitation,
addresses, people that are still living. There are people that are affected.
Let me ask you this. Riddle me this, Batman. If they find someone that's like a former German soldier, 100 years old, they out them immediately. If they find someone on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and they've said some kind of anti-Semitic thing, they out them immediately. If they find someone that's been doing donuts on the password people's road signs or burning some of the password people's flags, they out them immediately. I disagree with Donald Trump on this. I want information now. And Donald Trump is going into office, if he's elected, as a lame duck president. Doesn't have to care about getting reelected. I think that's what the Democrat Party is the most scared of. Because he's going to go in and just rip shit apart. And he's got a wrecking crew with him. Elon Musk, Robert F. Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard. The laundry list goes on. Vivek Ramaswamy, J.D. Vance. They are going to rip stuff apart. That's what scares the Democrat Party. That's what scares the establishment. Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, we're coming for you, brother. We're coming for you. Your days are numbered, Mitch. And you know it.
And there could be some national security reason that that I don't have to necessarily know about. But some very good, talented people asked me not to do it. I opened it up, and then they said, would it be possible for us to do that a different day?
How much of it did you read into?
He's not going to say. He's not going to say.
I think it's going to be just fine to open it. Let me put it that way. I think it's fine. It's going to
because he doesn't care now.
It's a cleansing.
He doesn't care.
Cleansing. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it immediately, almost immediately.
Boom! Immediately. Bush family, coming for you. LBJ family, woo-hoo-hoo. Democrat Party, yeah!
And one of the things that you said, was that if they showed you what they showed me, this was your quote, you wouldn't want people to know it either.
So I opened them up partially. I was met with, from good people. I mean, good people. People that were well-meaning. Mike Pompeo was one of them. He's a good person. Now, I will say this. It's a lot easier if you're a Democrat. If I were a Democrat,
you get a lot of positive press.
I would get a lot of positive.
How many of you believe that? That's so true. If Donald Trump was a Democrat, they would be fawning all over him. They would need diapers because they would all be wetting their pants, right? But right now, the Democrat Party has done something very stupid. They had Joe Biden. They replaced him with Kamala Harris. They replaced him without any votes. Not one Democrat primary vote was sent to Kamala Harris. And I heard it, and it's so true. Replacing Joe Biden with Kamala Harris is like shitting your pants and changing your shirt. That's what it is. The news media, corrupt. Democrat Party, corrupt. They're one and the same. There is no difference between the Democrat Party and the news media. They hate people like me because I don't have a journalism license. I'm not a licensed journalist. I'm just a normal dude, a veteran, wear a funny hat, sitting in a spare room talking about what they're not showing you. It scares them. I pump my own gas, walk my own dogs, right? I'm a normal dude. I sit down to poop, right? Follow me, veteranbiker.locals.com. We got a little more unfiltered content, a little colorful language. More importantly, we can say stuff over there we can't say here because we don't have to speak in code, right? We don't have to do any of that code word stuff.
positive
Yeah,
press.
no, it's a creepy, corrupt business, and the media, to a large extent, acts as a propaganda arm for the Democratic Party.
It's not even believable.
Yeah,
Not
it's
even believable.
I mean, it's bizarre to watch, and most young people, I think, are aware of it. I think most boomers still, unfortunately, read the newspapers and believe in CNN.
But it's getting younger. Let me
Yes.
tell you, it's getting for us, for a conservative.
Yes.
And
why
I consider
is?
myself
It's
a person.
the internet. It's because the internet's
think
giving
so.
people information that they're not getting from anywhere else. And they like the very fine people hoax, the Russiagate hoax, all these different things that they've done. They tried to pin on you. That's like, it's a clear distortion of what you actually said.
The bloodbath hoax.
Yes.
I was talking about
Yes.
the auto industry.
Yes.
It's a bloodbath because Japan and
course.
China are taking our auto. And I
Yes.
said, it's a bloodbath. They said, he used the word bloodbath.
He said, if you don't win,
somebody,
it's going to be a bloodbath
that's
because
right,
they're going to take
that's
over.
right.
That's exactly what you
It's a terrible
said.
thing they do.
But that's the problem with propagandists, because they take things out of context, and ultimately what they do is they diminish their own credibility because people don't want to listen to them anymore because they see that they've done that and they recognize what's going on and they feel insulted.
How many of you trust the news media? What would it take for you to trust the news media again? What would it take for you to trust them again? I don't think the news media can ever recover and get any integrity back. Never. CNN, MSDNC, one of the most corrupt is Fox News because they trick you. They give you just enough to make you think that they're conservative, make you think they care about America. And then they call the election early for Arizona. Remember that, right? You remember that? And they have people like Neil Cavuto, right? You know who I'm talking about, right? Jessica Tarloff, she works for George Soros. She's on the 5. There's a handful of really good people on Fox News. But a couple of bad apples will ruin the whole barrel. Do me a favor, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in. Veteranbiker.locals.com. Thank you. Salute. See you on the road. Keep fighting, baby. Keep fighting. Replacing Joe Biden with Kamala Harris is like shitting your pants, changing your shirt. Feel free to use that. Not in church, though. Go to church.